Hey, happy Friday. Back for another episode of the Tech Behind FinTech. I'm the host, Nnamdi Osuagwu. We're going to be talking about the latest FinTech news of the week that we found interesting. Obviously, we're not going to cover every single news article, but we're going to cover some interesting insights that we have. Happy Friday to you guys. Hope all is well with everyone. Always a pleasure to come on Fridays. We are live every Friday at 12 p.m. EST. So, without further ado, let's see what we're going to jump into today. Uh, okay. Our first article of the day is the Bank of America invest in Paytech Banked and launches new online solution. So Banked is a startup and essentially Bank of America, BOFA for short. Hey, got a happy Friday message. I'll shout it out after going over this. BOFA for short. Um, they basically named Pay by Bank as their new online payment solution in partnership with UK Paytech startup bank. So what does that mean? It's really right now for online merchants. So basically, when you use Pay by Bank at an online checkout, you'll connect their mobile banking app and authenticate the purchase using biometrics with no login required. So probably a fingerprint or a facial scan, I assume, and then you can just use it to pay for online purchases um, with vendors that are in the network. So they basically partnered with the startup called Banked. So Bofa also co-led a 20 million Series A round in Bank to support the London-based company's U.S. expansion. So right now, this pay by bank solution from both is only available in the UK. They're looking to see how they're going to expand it globally, but that's what's going on right now. Before we move on to the next article, let's shout out to Chef Martin, my man, loyal viewer of the show. We appreciate your viewership and always being there for us. Definitely shout out. Happy Friday back to you. Um, okay, let's see what's up next that we came across. So this is interesting. So low code platform for financial markets Genesis. So essentially low code, what that means is solutions that allow you to basically drag and drop. You don't have to program or anything like that. You drag and drop into a flow chart and you can build an app. Obviously, if it's easy for you, that means behind the scenes, you need developers to not the end user, but the company itself, Genesis. They have developers in the background building on this all these solutions to make it low code. But what makes them really interesting is they claim to be the first and only low code to no code platform built specifically for the financial markets. Um, really don't talk about a lot of startups, but really wanted to jump into this just because of the novel idea of it. So yeah, they're an application development platform for financial markets and organizations. They are part of some of their investors include Accel, GV, which is formerly known as Google Ventures, Illuminate, Illuminate Financial, Insight Partners, Salesforce Ventures, Tribeca Early Stage Partners. They participated in this. Let's get a quote from the CEO. We have worked hard to become the central to IT delivery across financial markets, and we are increasing our focus on and commitment to our growing developer community, says CEO Stephen Murphy. In the coming months, and with this new funding, we expect to onboard thousands of new developers. Like I said, they have developers in the background basically making these solutions. The rise of low code development as a centerpiece in every IT stack is undeniable. The market is predicted to reach 21 billion by 2022. So by the end of 2022, it's expected to reach 21 billion. But what Genesis represents is the next generation of low code to no code path forward for the highly complex, highly regulated, and extremely valuable financial markets. says John Curtius, partner at Tiger Global. So definitely found that very interesting. Yeah, low code in conventional software developers, programmers write lines of code to create functions and features. Low code and no code platforms basically encapsulate all that work behind the scenes. Users visually select and connect reusable components that represent particular steps or capabilities and link them together to create the desired computerized workflow. So similar to what I said, that's just more of the formal definition. So yeah, interesting stuff there in terms of the low code solution for the financial markets. I find that very interesting. I wonder who are some of their did we come up with that? Who are some of their current customers? I guess we go to their website. We can see that. I'm just some of these things are like rabbit holes. Like once I start researching it and we start getting on, let's see if we can find that. I'm curious to see who's currently using them. See if we can get that answer real quick before moving on. Um, we can check it next time. But let's see if we can find that real quick. Let's see. I'm curious to see what are some of the companies currently using their solutions. They have some interesting use cases of some customers. I'm on their website right now. Mm, yeah, I don't see that right now, but they do have offices in London, New York, Miami, Sao Paulo, in Brazil, and Dublin. And they say a Bangalore office is coming soon. Yeah, no, they said I find it this the whole concept very interesting, to be honest with you. Um, because what they will do is what I want to know is how they connect to the legacy platforms. I think they mentioned that. Let me see if I can find some information about that real quick. Because as for financial markets, one of the biggest things that, especially when you look at incumbent financial platforms, not necessarily fintechs, but you have tons of back end legacy applications. So with these low code solutions, I'm curious to see how they connect to that and make that synergy to bring them to like next gen software. But definitely just highlighting it. We can kind of get into that. Maybe that might be an episode in itself, to be honest with you. Okay, let's let's move on. Other stuff we want to cover. MoneyGram. All right, so MoneyGram is going private, right? They're currently public. They are being acquired by a private equity firm, Madison Dearborn, for 1.8 billion. The transaction is expected to close by the end of 2022 in Q4. Um, By becoming a private company, MoneyGram says it will have greater opportunities to innovate and lead the industry in cross-border payments technology. So, from their CEO, Alex Holmes, says the deal will enable us to accelerate the advancement of our digital growth strategy. Interesting. So, back in October 2021, MoneyGram partnered with Stellar Development Foundation to utilize blockchain technology. Stellar is an open source blockchain that allows money to be tokenized and transferred anywhere in the world. They also have a token, Stellar token. So it's interesting to see what would happen. I mean, I know the biggest difference between private and public companies is the amount of reporting that the public companies have to do. So just really interesting to see where that goes, by them being private, by the partnerships they have existing with obviously everything happening in the blockchain world and their partnership with Stellar that was announced a few months ago. Just interested. I mean, remittances and cross-border transactions. Doing it the traditional ways is expensive. Doing it through we have shows on this. Doing this through maybe the blockchain, maybe other cryptocurrencies is cheaper. We had a guest on, and we have to bring one again. Guy Chigozie Iwu, he runs an exchange in Nigeria, and which just has some solutions around that. But what he's working on, he just the cost to send money throughout the continent and other places using using like more advanced technologies now, just a lot cheaper than the traditional ways of sending it, like via Western Union and other things. So definitely interesting to see. Keep an eye out for that. They said that their current stock, I think they're going to give um current shareholders with the sale will be valued at $11 per share. I think I read that. Let me confirm. Yeah, I think I got that from somewhere. I don't have it in front of me right now. So that's interesting on the MoneyGram front. It's going private. All right, let's see what else we have going on right now. This is like PSA numero uno. So before we get into this article, let me describe what a rug pull is. I mean, so you have before we go, let's get rid of that in the background. Let's change our background. It's a little bit clearer right there. All right. So you have a situation where you hear all these new tokens coming out, right? And some of them are really interesting projects based on an actual development effort or solution they're trying to solve, and some are just hype. So the hype ones you have to be wary of because essentially, it's a lot of marketing that'll go into it. Less on the actual technology front or solution oriented front. And after it becomes goes live, right? And then people invest in it, whether it's a crypto, whether it's an NFT. Sometimes the people who started it essentially take all the money and bounce, like leave, exit, stage left, and you have a lot of scams. So a lot of people who invested in this stuff end up losing all their money. um, so this particular article talks about one situation where the actual community came together to prevent that from happening through and they did their own private investigation, and they basically brought it to made it public, and they prevented a $20 million NFT drop scam. So it's wanted to kind of give you some background on that, and it's basically called a rug pull. That's like an industry term that they use that for. It's like when you put all this hype around this new token or whatever digital token or NFT or whatever, but it's not your intention is to take the investors' money, or people who invested in this or brought it, and essentially close the shop down, and you'll never hear from these people again. So in this one case, that was not done, and it's a kind of a history behind that. So it's a they call him internet detective and YouTuber. He goes by the name CoffeeZilla. He published a video documenting how he, along with members of the blockchain community, took down an alleged 20 million non-fungible token scam before it came to fruition. The project was called Squiggles, no judgment. Um, they had an NFT drop February 10th. At the time, they amassed over 230,000 followers on Twitter. So a lot of this stuff starts on Twitter. They get a following, and they might take them to offline channels like Telegram or Discord just to build their community. Hours before the anticipated drop, an anonymous user published a 60-page report that alleged Squiggles founders were paid puppets. At the same time, the real people behind the project allegedly belong to a group of serial NFT scam artists operating under the umbrella NFT Factory LA. So, is three names called Gavin, Gabe, and Ali. Essentially, they were doxxed, meaning their information was made public a while ago. So that's why they hired these particular uh, founders, quote unquote, as figureheads so they could disguise their own identity. Previous NFT scams included the League of Sacred Devils, League of Defined Beings, Vault of Gems, Sinful Souls, Dirty Dogs, lucky Buddhas, and on and on. Look, like I said, no judgment on how some people choose to where they put their money and stuff. I mean, sometimes you get a hit, sometimes you don't. But definitely buyer beware, be careful. Like you have to kind of do some investigation. It's not just a marketing hype with these things. Actually kind of look behind the scenes and see if it's somewhat real or has some sort of legitimacy to it. So the alleged series of scams did not go unnoticed. However, pretty soon Gabe and Gab and Ali were all doxxed by angry crypto enthusiasts for orchestrating the alleged rug pulls. As a result, they needed to hire stooges to carry out the work of future projects such as Squiggles. So, um, so yeah, so that's that. I just found the article very interesting, and it's a kind of a crypto feel good story. I'm happy that a lot of these people did not lose their money, and the perpetrators were brought to light. So that's pretty cool. Just a community driven event in that situation. All right. On a similar note, let's jump into this new information that came out from the FBI. So essentially, the FBI is launching a team to address crypto exploitation, says the U.S. Deputy Attorney General. So understand, right? You have a lot of ransomware scams. I mean, it's just the easiest way to in illicit activities to transfer some sort of to transfer, something of value, assets of value. I mean, crypto, and that's what they do. So you have a ransomware. They basically lock all your systems down in your network. You can't have access to anything. They threaten to delete or expose certain information if you don't pay them money. How are you going to give them the money? You're not going to write them a check, right? Because they obviously want to be anonymous. It's the best way to commit the crime is if they could maintain their anonymity. So they usually require you to send some sort of cryptocurrency in the form of Bitcoin or Ether to some address. But the thing about that, I mean, in the past, I mean, you have a lot of scams that worked in, but here's the deal, right? Everything you transact on a public blockchain is traceable, right? So it's a matter of time. I mean, you could hide it, you could try to figure it out, but it always could be traced because that's the whole idea of public ledger. Or like you see blocks, you see Bitcoin, Ethereum, things of that nature is public, it's accessible. You can go and research, okay, or download it and just look through to see where these transactions go. So they basically, the specialized team dedicated to cryptocurrency will be called the Virtual Asset Exploitation Unit. The unit will include crypto experts as well as have the means for blockchain analysis that may eventually be used to track and seize illicit funds. I just said so. So the formation of the FBI team comes more than 4 months after Monaco announced the launch of the Justice Department's National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. The two will be working together to pursue actors who abuse cryptocurrency to commit crime. Ransomware and digital extortion, like many other crimes fueled by cryptocurrency, only work if the bad guys get paid, which means we have to bust their business model, said Monaco. The currency might be virtual, but the message to companies is concrete. If you report to us, we can follow the money and not only help you, but hopefully prevent the next victim. So, looking at that, right? Like, what are some of the reasons that a company might not want to report? So easy, it's negative, right? You basically got compromised, you got breached, and you don't want that to become public. So some companies keep that private, um, pay the necessary ransom and keep it moving. But this message is strong from the FBI. They're like, look, report, come to us, let's figure it out, and we'll trace it, and then we'll hopefully prevent it. But one thing I learned, right, and this is a something that just legal, like the FBI or any law enforcement, their main goal is to stop crime. That's it. Their goal is not necessarily to um their goal sometimes may be aligned with the business's goals, but but their goal is to stop crime, not to help maintain the actual business entity or certain business objectives that the company has. So they have to come down and basically shut things down to start doing their research, right, and getting their analysis. So that's, I mean, it's another reason. So sometimes companies might not want to involve the FBI. So I see it from that angle, or they might want to get things in order before they make that call, because certain things will have to be shut down and an investigation will have to be made. So it's real interesting. But from the FBI standpoint, I totally get that, right? So like they report it, they'll do the investigation, especially now they seem really focused, and they have an actual unit for this. So some other information. The FBI is currently investigating 100 ransomware variants, which could result in a potential seizure of cryptocurrency by U.S. authorities. In addition to beefing up efforts to combat cybercrime at home, Monaco said the Justice Department would be launching an international virtual currency initiative, allowing for more joint international law enforcement operations to track funds through the blockchain and encourage responsible regulation on digital assets. Prior to the creation of the Justice Department crypto enforcement team in October, the task force seized more than 2 million in crypto used to pay for the ransom following an attack on the Colonial Pipeline. We talked about that previously. That was huge. In its largest seizure to date, the team took control of 3.6 billion in Bitcoin and ordered the arrest of two individuals connected to the 2016 hack of Bitfinex exchange. So, like I said, right, at 2016, that's like what, 6 years ago. So, listen, things can always be traced back. So when certain individuals commit these types of fraud and crimes, or they may do extort. I mean, ransomware is a form of extortion, right? They're basically taking control of your systems and saying, listen, pay us and we won't do X, Y, and Z, right? That's extortion. Like whether it's someone coming to a brick and mortar store saying, pay us to protect you from, getting robbed or whatever. That's extortion in the physical form. This is more extortion in the digital form. So totally respect what they're doing. And to their point, right, if they're really good at this and keep seizing the funds, then the incentive to commit the crimes decreases, right? Because if you commit it, when you get caught, like why do it? Or you innovate and find better ways to do it. So just wanted to kind of talk about that, because that just came out. That's new this week with this new task force by the FBI that's really focused on the money, I would say. So very, very interesting stuff. That is all we have for today. Remember, always got to say this: our website is the Tech Behind FinTech. So promotion starts at home. So let me just put our website here so you guys can take a look at it. As we build everything up, well, let me just put a link to our website. Give me 1 second. I'm putting it in the chat, and I also will put it on the screen. What happened right now? Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Nice. techbehindfintech.com. I see it there. You can pause it. Okay, let's get rid of this. So listen, as always, really appreciate you guys tuning into the show. We're here every single week, 12 p.m. Fridays, talking about the technology behind fintech. Hope to have some really interesting guests in the future, as we did last year. We're getting all that sorted out behind the scenes. But on days when we don't have guests, we'll just talk about the interesting news of the day. As always, I wish everyone a really, really happy, a great weekend. Make it spectacular. And on that note, I am out. Have a great day. And cheers. And thanks for viewing. Once again, my name is Nnamdi Osuagwu, host of the Tech Behind FinTech. Cheers.